The science, part two, how tapping finally helps us get unstuck. I told you how an emotion is created and rewired in the first place. And by now you might already have an idea of what some of your recipe cards look like. They have ingredients on them, maybe a location in your body for that emotion to be felt each time, and some detailed images of things to run from when spotted, just in case. Let me remind you that when you have an emotional experience, it might be very different than that original event, and you know you're okay. However, your brain is simply just scanning those cards for something that seems similar enough, then assigns those rules to you today. You don't get a new card for each circumstance that anxiety or fear is felt. It's just one recipe card, and your subconscious just keeps adding details to it with each experience. Unless we tap on it. That's when we get to create new cards with the information that we want on them. But otherwise, this means that there are a lot of things in your surroundings that could trigger unnecessary anxiety, or insert your problem emotion here. And this is why our fight or flight gets put into action far before we have time to think. And did I mention that when your fight or flight is tripped, your blood leaves your brain and shoots to your legs so you can literally run from the problem? Yeah, that's why we can't even think straight when we're reactive, because we literally do not have the blood in our brain to think. And how many times do you feel that run or hide feeling, but you're somewhere that you would never be able to or choose to run or hide from? This is pretty debilitating. This is exactly why a seemingly small issue can feel really big to us today, when we know in our conscious mind that it's really just no big deal. We can simply just think about that rude thing someone said to us and our heart rate will go up. Think about when something happens and you are quick to get angry and throw a fit like a kid, and later you feel really silly for it. That's because something that attributed to your anger looked and felt a lot like something from the past, and it usually starts in childhood. So it's no wonder that when we overreact, we often act like children. Our conscious mind is lovely. It's the one that knows right from wrong, wants to do great things, be a great human, overcome all of this mishmash, reach healthy goals, maybe check something off that bucket list, and have that hard conversation with somebody that we love. It's our darn subconscious that gets in the way, controlling over 85% of our thoughts and actions. So just the thought of these great things pulls up a whole slew of emotions, turning too many of them into what feels like a life or death situation in our body, when it's really not life or death. So how do we stop this? EFT tapping, the best of over 250 energy modalities out there, because it alerts you to an issue, leads you to issues you don't know about, allows you to process said issue, while also providing a physiological benefit. Other modalities simply don't provide all those benefits, except maybe EMDR, which I'm going to be honest, is literally one of the emotional freedom techniques that we discussed. So with tapping, we also get to do EMDR. Anyway, remember the neurotransmitters, peptides, and hormones that go into creating an emotion in the first place. It's when they enter a cellular receptor that a feeling is actually produced. Each ingredient and cell receptor is like a key and a lock. So only a specific hormone can enter a specific cell receptor. Only a specific peptide can enter a specific cell receptor. The hormone cannot enter where the peptide can enter. Only the peptide can. So when the ingredient finds the correct receptor, it's like a lock is opened, initiating communication. The vibrating of tapping interchanges with those same cellular receptors, neutralizing the negative emotion trapped within them, bypassing the conscious thinking, knowing what we want that's good and right mind, all those great things that we know, disconnecting the emotion or feeling from an experienced negative event, things that we have felt for so long. Another example that I like to give, and you might be too young to remember, but there was a video of Mariah Carey hitting a really high note and a wine glass nearby broke. This is because when an energy frequency hits its own frequency just right, it breaks. With tapping, we're focusing on a specific problem or emotion to essentially get movement in that cell receptor. The words that we use while we tap, "I am safe," remind our amygdala that we're just recalling something, not reliving it, and that we're safe to do so. combined with tapping on pressure points directly related to every organ and every system in the body, creating the perfect match energetically for that recipe. Therefore, breaking it. The most exciting part is the results are often permanent. Let's learn how to actually tap.